What's up, tennis players, tennis parents, tennis pros? Coach Jeff here. I recently had a player text me and ask me about how to deal with cheaters in tennis. And he has his first national tournament coming up that he's going to. And for him, honestly, the good news is he's gotten to a level now where it becomes less of an issue. At some point, he'll probably have chair umpires. There's lots of refs floating around at these tournaments. So it'll be easier for him to apply some of these rules we're going to go over. And that should really be everyone's goal. Get to the level where someone taking a few points off you in a local tournament isn't going to affect the outcome of the match, because you're going to get so good that you'll eventually be at these big stake tournaments where there's lots of refs around. So we want to stay away from even calling them cheaters. We want to call them people that make bad line calls consistently. I know it's a little long-winded, but if we can just think of it more about how do we defend against bad line calls, it's going to help us not get as angry. When you get angry on a tennis court, you're almost always going to play worse. The truth is, most of these people are just in denial about whether the ball is in or out. The human eye can't even see a ball hit the ground. The brain is simply using the incoming and outgoing trajectories to determine if you think the ball's in or out. In fact, a hard hit flat ball can actually roll a few inches on the ground. So it's possible for a ball to have an incoming trajectory, roll out, and have the outgoing trajectory to going out. So the vast majority of times, these people aren't genuinely cheating you, which is why you should be able to defend against it. The truth is, some of these people have just had bad mentorship. Yes, coaches and parents, it does reflect poorly upon you if someone's consistently making these bad line calls. As a developmental coach, I constantly find myself battling and teaching kids proper ways to make line calls. I've even had players where they'll turn their head before the ball lands so that they can convince themselves that the ball is going to be out easier. So it's important we know if you're not sure, the ball is always in, and that people, players, and kids and adults learn this in their developmental phases. Okay, so here's our 5-step plan to deal with bad line calls. Starting with number 1, politely asking if they're sure the ball was out. What you don't want to do is ignore it altogether. Make sure you acknowledge it. Make sure you stop playing, that they acknowledge you back, telling you yes, they're sure that the ball was out. And also in line with number 1, this is where you already want to start bringing your balls more in from the lines. If you're consistently painting the line on every shot, you're not giving yourself enough margin anyway. It's a good rule and a great practice to just bring your shots in a couple feet from the lines, and that's the first step you want to take when dealing with bad line calls. Number 2, politely ask again. That's right. One bad line call doesn't mean this person's intentionally doing it. Even if it happens a second time, stay calm. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Ask them again. You can ask more insistently, but still politely. I really think that ball was in. Are you absolutely sure that it was out? And again, make sure they acknowledge you back. Make sure that they know that you know that something's not right. Okay, step number 3. Now we have a little bit of a problem. It's going to require some action steps. At this point, you're going to need to have a ref on the premises or somewhere around. You want to tell the player that, I really don't think you're making good calls. I'm going to go get a referee before I continue playing. And you're going to go and you're going to stay even keeled, and you're going to explain to that referee what happens, and you're going to request that they come and watch your match. And hopefully they do. And remember, almost always in these situations, adults and juniors, you have to ask the referee if the ball is in or out. Even if they're standing on your court, oftentimes they won't overrule a player. They need you to acknowledge that you thought that ball was in, and then ask the referee if it was in or out. Okay, number 4 and 5 are really for emergency situations. Maybe the ref has refused to come, or has come very briefly and then left again, and the player continues to make bad line calls. Well, at this point, you may actually have a cheater on your hands. You might have a player that is maliciously and intentionally trying to cheat the match from you. Now, what you need to remember in this instance, and it's another great rule of thumb, it's a great exercise, most people are guiding the ball too much, too close to the lines. I always tell my players, pace over place. Try aiming every ball to the middle of that court and run your butt off. See if you can get the win based off athleticism alone. I can't tell you how successful I was in junior tennis, and the reason I got into college tennis was just basically aiming every ball to the middle of the court and running my butt off. It's a great exercise. See if you can win the match that way. Okay, finally, number 5, if they're still cheating you drastically, ball's nowhere near the line, and they've made 5 bad line calls against you, I want you to cheat back. I'm just kidding. Hey, if you're enjoying these videos, the best way to support Victory Tennis programs is to interact. Please like, comment any questions below, and subscribe to the channel. And please share this video with anyone you know might be struggling with bad line calls, or even cheaters.